Chocolate and peanut butter just taste so good together. Today, I'm making 2 insanely delicious keto desserts that are grain-free, sugar-free, low carb, that use chocolate and peanut butter together, and I promise you they are going to satisfy your sweet tooth. We'll be making an easy and delicious keto Snickers slice and keto Snickers ice cream bars. Let's get going. I'm going to start with the Snickers ice cream bars. They have a soft, delicious vanilla ice cream base with a little hint of peanut butter, gooey caramel, chopped peanuts, and it's coated in dark chocolate. I'm going to talk you through each of the steps bit by bit. It is super easy and so worth it. You just need a little bit of patience to allow the different layers to set. The first step is to make the ice cream base. This is going to be a vanilla base, which you can add any flavorings to. The most important parts of the base is to use a cream. This can be a dairy cream or a coconut cream if you're dairy free. And just to help with lowering the calorie content, I am also going to use a nut milk. If it's entirely cream that you're using, the calories can be really high, but this helps to keep it creamy and also keep the calories low. To help with blending everything to make a really creamy vanilla ice cream, I'm going to add everything into my blender. I have a Vitamix blender, but any high-powered blender will do. I'm adding in half a cup of my unsweetened cashew milk and 1.5 cups of cream. This is pure cream or heavy whipping cream or runny cream if you're in Australia. I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. The peanut butter that I like to use is a natural peanut butter that only has the ingredients of peanuts and salt. I feel like it tastes the best. To get a really accurate measurement, you can use kitchen scales like I am. Mine are just cheap kitchen scales from Kmart and I love them and use them all the time. I'm adding in half a teaspoon of vanilla, and to sweeten my ice cream, I'm going to use a combination of allulose and an erythritol stevia blend sweetener. You can find more information in my keto baking essentials video about why I love these sweeteners, but basically allulose will keep the ice cream really smooth and creamy and stop it from setting too hard and icy, and the erythritol stevia sweetener does set harder, so that gives it a more ice cream like consistency. One problem with keto sweeteners is that sometimes they can taste a little bit gritty if they haven't been powdered finely. You can buy pre-powdered keto sweeteners, or you can make them yourself. All you need to do is add the sweeteners into a NutriBullet or a small little blender, blitz them, and it will turn it from a granular sweetener to a powdered sweetener or icing sugar right away. Today I'm going to add in 1/4 cup of allulose sweetener and 1/4 cup of erythritol stevia sweetener too. I'm using the S-blade attachment on my NutriBullet, and I'm just going to blitz it to make a fine powdered sweetener. It doesn't take long at all, and honestly it's so much cheaper to do this yourself at home. I normally make a big batch of powdered keto sweetener and then I keep it in my pantry whenever I need to grab it out. But today I just wanted to share with you exactly how I do it, and to be honest, I really need to refill mine. I'm just going to add in my powdered sweetener to my ice cream base, and that is everything. Now it's time to mix everything up and you'll see the ice cream come together before your eyes. To speed up my ice cream, I am using an ice cream maker. Mine's just a really cheap one that I've had for so long. You can also make this without an ice cream maker, but I like to keep my ice cream bowl in the freezer. That way I have access to it whenever I feel like making ice cream. I've got my ice cream base mix. I'm just going to pour it into my ice cream maker and then start churning it to allow it to cool before I'm then gonna put it into the baking dish that it will sit in. It's really important with this recipe to make sure that you line your baking tin so that you can get the ice cream bar out after you've finished making it. Otherwise it will be stuck to your baking tin unless you use a silicone baking mold. I'm just using a traditional baking tin today, and I'm going to line it with cling film or Glad wrap because that way I can lift it out really easily. While the ice cream sets, I'm going to make the chewy caramel layer. This is the same caramel that I'm using in the ice cream bars and also in my Snickers slice. So I'm going to make a double batch, enough for both recipes. There are 3 ingredients to my keto caramel, and today I'm making a chewy caramel. The first ingredient is cream. This is heavy whipping cream, pure cream, or runny cream. When you're looking for a cream, you want to make sure that the ingredients are just cream. The sweetener that I'm using today is allulose. You can use a mixture of keto sweeteners like I did in the ice cream, or you can use just one or the other. So that could be allulose or the erythritol stevia blend sweetener. The thing that I love about allulose is that it keeps the caramel chewy and gooey, which is exactly what I want in a Snickers slice. And the final ingredient is butter. When you're looking for a butter, you want to make sure that the ingredients are just cream and salt. Some butters have water and you really want to avoid that. As with all of my keto caramels, you want to make sure that you're using a good saucepan, one that isn't non-stick, because that can cause your caramel to split. I am adding in a cup of allulose. And remember, this could be any keto sweetener that you like, or you could use a combination of two sweeteners if you prefer. I'm adding in a cup of cream. This is the heavy whipping cream. And the last ingredient is 250 grams of butter. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect, but as close as you can get it is always a good idea. Mastering this keto caramel takes a little bit of practice, but I promise you it is so worth it. I'll leave a link in the description box below to my videos where I show exactly how to make this caramel step by step. It does take roughly 20 minutes to make. It might take you a bit longer at first just to master it, but you can get it down really quickly to be able to whip it up, and I promise you it tastes exactly like real caramel. While the caramel reduces down, I'm just going to add my ice cream base to my baking dish for the ice cream to start setting. Try to make sure that the ice cream is evenly distributed across your base, just so that you get an even base for your ice cream slice. To make the Snickers bar slice base, you only need to use some almond flour. You can also use almond meal or ground almonds. A keto sweetener of your choice, that could be monk fruit, erythritol stevia blend, or allulose. And you'll also need peanut butter. I like to use a natural peanut butter, one that only has peanuts and salt as the ingredients, because I just feel like it tastes so much better. What's awesome about this slice base is that it's no bake required. You just assemble all of the ingredients together in a bowl and then place it in the fridge or the freezer to set. In my bowl, I'm adding in 1 cup of almond flour, a 1/4 cup of peanut butter. This is also 3 ounces or 60 grams. And I'm adding in 1 tablespoon of keto sweetener. Then you just want to mix all of your ingredients together really well to make your slice base. The mixture will come together and you'll be able to press it into your pan. It's really important to remember that different brands of almond flour can be drier in consistency. So whenever you're making keto treats or you're baking, try to stay as flexible as you can, because you might need to add some more ingredients if your almond meal or almond flour is drier, just to make it come together. Before I put my slice base into my tin, I'm just gonna make sure that I line it again, because if I don't, it will be impossible for me to get it out. I'm just using non-stick baking paper. And using my fingers, I'm just going to press this into the base of my tin. And remember, as you're pressing your slice base into your tin, if it is still crumbly, add more peanut butter just to bring it all together. You want it to hold its shape. My caramel is done. It is the perfect color, golden caramel, and it's the right consistency. It is a little bit important to let it cool before you pour it over your base, especially your ice cream base for the Snickers ice cream bars. This slice base though has been chilling in the freezer, and I can pour over half of the caramel to this and then return that to the freezer to let it finish setting. Before I put this back in the freezer, I'm just going to add some chopped roasted peanuts on top. I like to keep some roasted peanuts on hand just to be able to grab to add to recipes like this. It is so easy to make your own roasted peanuts at home. All you need to do is use some raw peanuts, put them on a baking tray, make sure that baking tray is lined, and then pop them into the oven to roast. They only need to be in the oven at about 180 degrees or 355 degrees Fahrenheit for about 10 minutes. Keep an eye on them and keep checking them because they can burn really quickly. My ice cream base has finished sitting in the freezer, so now I can add over the caramel sauce and some chopped nuts. It's really important when you're adding on the caramel just to make sure that the caramel has cooled completely and also that your vanilla ice cream base has set a little bit. This just helps to keep the layers nice and separate. I'm sprinkling over the chopped roasted peanuts. I'm using approximately 30 grams or 1 ounce. And now you just place it back in the freezer to continue setting before adding on the final layer, the chocolate. My slice has finished sitting in the freezer, which means it's now time to take it out, cut it, and coat it in chocolate. Once the ice cream has finished sitting in the freezer, it's time to take it out. It should be really easy to remove from the mold because you've got the Glad wrap or the cling film. The caramel that we made is really sticky, so it might stick to the sides a little bit, but that's okay because you can just rearrange it and put it back on before you add on the chocolate top. You want to let your ice cream thaw just for a few minutes before cutting it so that you can get the size of the slices that you'd like. While I make the chocolate layer the top, this is going to go on the slice and also my ice cream bars. I've just lined another baking tray. This one's bigger with more cling film or Glad wrap because this way I can put the slice back onto the tray and it won't stick. These ice cream bars melt pretty quickly at room temperature, so between layers it is quite important to keep it stored in the freezer where they'll hold their shape, and then you can coat them in chocolate. And I'm just gonna pop this back into the freezer so that they stay nice and cold while I make that chocolate. To make the final chocolate layer, you only need 2 ingredients, chocolate and coconut oil. It's really important that when you make this chocolate layer that you let it cool before you add it onto your slice and your ice cream bars because it could melt both of them. The fastest way to melt chocolate is normally using the microwave. If you don't have a microwave, you can always do this step on the stove. It will work out just the same. Just break up your chocolate pieces and add into a microwave safe jug or bowl. Add in your coconut oil. Remember, I'm making double because I'm making chocolate for the slice and the ice cream bars too. These keto Snickers recipes are so yummy, and I hope that it shows you that you can enjoy your favorite sweet treats without any guilt and you can get closer to your goals every single day. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!